Sorry, Andrew, we'll just start. People are still having their coffee, so we'll just wait.
Performing like our faces. You cannot see our faces there.
Okay, we'll ask them to sit. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to welcome you all, hosted by Indusage, as one of the Australia's leading voice for the Indian subcontinent diamond on issues that matter to our community. Today, we are honored to have with us communities and advocating for their growth and success. This forum provides a platform for open discussion, rhythm, dance, company. They'll be doing a fusion between Gujarati and Rajasthani dance, which is a welcome dance. We are to You are the face now. We don't want us to be the mirror. Company. Before we start the program again, Andrew will be speaking and telling us his story. He's a first-time parliamentary, but he has done performed extremely well and has done lots of things for Indian diaspora. Thank you, Andrew, for doing that. And before Andrew speaks, I'll request Andrew to inaugurate our Radio Bollywood app. Varun.
Thank you very much for coming in the morning. Today we are just launching one Radio Bollywood Beats. It's coming on Apple, websites, and everywhere. And thank you, Andrew, for giving the
a photo? Thank you very much. Yes, absolutely. That'd be my honor.
Now it's time to listen to Andrew. Andrew, please welcome here. You want to speak from the dais?
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you so much for coming out on a Saturday. I really am so grateful for everything you've done for me, and you're two people I have. They are things I have such incredible admiration for. And something that Jeff and I really appreciate. Thank you for putting on today and enabling me to see many old friends. I want to say a few words about public service and what an incredible period for Parramatta. Its growth, its presence, its recognition. We've done many things. Firstly, we attracted the Centre for Australia in relationships between Australia and India. And I think they've got off to a fantastic start. We got Prime Minister Modi to visit, and while he was here, he did many things, but he inaugurated many people in the community. You know, we have an aspiration to make Little India, Australia, and across the world. Something as well known as Little India in Singapore. Something that attracts people from across the country and across the world. Our very own unique piece of subcontinental culture than it is today. A wonderful achievement for the whole community, and we were so lucky to have it. I think he said we should rename it from Harris Park to Harish Park. Which one person in particular right across the board. And I'm really proud to tell you today that the Australian government is supporting the development of the first Hindu school. There are many Islamic schools, there are Anglican schools, but in Australia, despite the fact that we have such a priority for this government, there is no reason why we should have Islamic schools and Anglican schools and Catholic schools being many of the initiatives of the Hindu community, whether it be by strengthening security around temples, Hindu phobia in Australia. The best thing about Australia is our tolerance. We don't want to see anything that jeopardizes that. In fact, it was now nearly 18 months ago when there was graffiti written on the wall. The minute I heard about it that morning, I stopped what I was doing. Now I'm going to give you the tip. I'm not the best painter. When one part of our community is attacked, every part of our community is attacked. When one part of our community, a fair and balanced view of India in the Australian media. When statements have been made in the Centre for Australia-India Relations, support for Hindu schools, support for every part of the subcontinental community has been one aspect for the subcontinental community in Australia. The contribution to this country. Will I speak without it? Thank you for that. When I needed it. For me, that contribution to Australia, I see that as the future of Australia. Parramatta from the subcontinent have exactly those values, which is why I'm so proud to work with them. But there's a second reason. I believe that the world is becoming a more dangerous place. If we look around the world, we see assumptions, alliances changing, new challenges emerging, and Australia safe and prosperous. And those alliances for Australia have always been important. Prosperity in the past. Those alliances and relationships we've had with other bigger countries around the world have led to looking in the past and start looking to the future, I think about what Australia needs. For me, there is no more important friend for Australia. And let me tell you why. Because India has grown so much. Its population is so young and growing so quickly that by 2050, India has the fastest growing economy of any major nation. Its economy is the military capability of any nation right now. If I put those three facts together, I get one inescapable conclusion, and that's in that century. And so Australia has a great opportunity. In fact, no better of freedom. Our common links of language and heritage and history and sport and relationship with India, and how it has changed over time. And the chapters in the book are called, we started as acquaintances. We knew each other, we had a little bit to do with each other, but not too much. We started to form closer relations. That's the chapter I call friendship. And in the 2000, and then I look forward in the last chapter of the book, and I say we need to move from family to partners. We're not just friends. We don't just wish each other well. We have a genuine stake in each other's success. We go from friendship to partnership. What do we need to do in terms of investing in each other? And young Indians know that they have no better friend than Australia. Politicians from all sides of politics whose job it is to make sure we deliver that vision. Our society and our culture, it's important for Australia's future to make sure that we remain a secure and prosperous country. Hard job, believe me. And so for me, I feel like it's not worth being there unless you are doing that relationship between Australia and India. That's going to affect my right for the prosperity and security of my grandchildren. And with your help, with the help of the Indian diaspora. So friends, the important thing, I think, is that I'm a Labor Member of Parliament. Unity. Recognising the value in every culture and looking for friendships around the world with people who align with ideas, your thoughts, and ultimately, I hope, if I'm re-elected, to working with you.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any questions you want to ask Andrew? He's here. Anyone wants to ask any questions or has any? No. Please come.
Please come there.
Thank you, Andrew, for giving rising cost. Whether it's a local residential community or business community are going up, insurance are going up. That's affecting everyone in the community.
Absolutely.
If that.
Yeah. Thank you. Everybody in Australia at the moment is. Go to the supermarket, prices are higher. You go to rent a home, rents are higher. Of the government. And let me be honest with you. Most people, they just look at the fact that prices are going up, and that's reasonable, But let's think about it at the next level. When did prices start going up to inflation? And inflation was highest in 2020. Prices across the economy, food, groceries, rents, percent. The highest it had been for more than 20 years in Australia. And there were many reasons for that. And the Labor Party came into power. Australia had not been building enough homes over the previous 20 years. Have enough homes and rents were going up. We hadn't been building enough new energy and power, and so the price of energy had not been making the investments to ensure that we had keep prices down. So Labor inherited inflation. What happens when inflation gets to 7%? What does the Reserve Bank do when inflation is at 7%? They started to put up interest rates. And they started just before Labor got into power. And they're saying, well, Labor's in power and interest rates are going up. Maybe I shouldn't have voted. And those price increases all happened before we got to power. So what have we done? 2.5. So we got the rate at which inflation is going down from 7.2. So we've done the hard work in this term of Labor government. They don't even see that. Why? Because that doesn't mean that the price of growth is cheaper to buy milk or bread. It just means that the price of those things isn't increasing up as it was before. So that's what we've done. That's what we've done. We had to do that. But most Australians, they don't thank you for that. And I understand why. Because they don't actually see their prices falling. We've been getting inflation down. We've been trying to give people some help where we can. We've been helping with housing costs. We've been getting cheaper medicines of living. We gave a tax cut to every Australian, just making it easier to deal with the costs in the long run. Number one, more energy in Australia. Because AI takes more energy. So we need to get the cost of energy down, and we do that by building more energy, which we can add into the grid. We don't want to take energy out of the grid. We want to add. Liberals have a plan for energy. Who knows what the Liberals' plan is? Anybody? Yeah? Privatizing. Nuclear. Planning, you've got the design, you've got the materials, you've got the construction. It'll be 20 years energy down now. And nuclear power is very expensive. It's not going to reduce the cost of energy. It's going to. Labor inherited prices rising very quickly, inflation at 7%, on the fundamentals, to build more homes, to get more energy, to give people low. So we're not importing everything. Those are the fundamentals. It's taken us 3 years to get prices down to 2%, with how the Australian economy has managed to bring it down while keeping employment up. Many other countries around the world who try to bring inflation down, they end up in a recession or high unemployment. Surpluses that the Liberals never delivered, and rising wages. That is 5 hallmarks of good economic management. Now, many people in Australia know that, but we all need to look at the next level and go, well, why were those prices stay down? And if you think about it at that level, people will have a very different party is best serving the long-term interests of Australians who are struggling. Thank you for the question. Thank you.
Hi, Andrew.
Hi.
It was very nice of your speech. I really like it. My name is Harry. I do return and earn recycling and multi-businesses. Until today in NSW government, I think so, only 60% people know collect bottles, they don't know. As you said, as per the is running around money, working for someone, working for yourself, they don't know. As you said, they're living on the street, they don't know anything.
I don't know. Yeah.
I tackle everyone, every day. I receive calls from different places. Even the guy who, oh, why he's touching the bins and collecting, that is money. Cans lying on the grass is money. See, as the government is teaching everyone clean future as well. Everything should be recycled. and decide. Yes, that is your job because you have no rights to kill sea. You have no rights to kill all the people because you left your.
Can I say, Harry, that one of the things that really speaks to me about your story is the way you started that business. I think you said you started with 2 bins. Yes. And you built that business through hard work and enterprise and grit and determination. Very small beginnings. In my attic at home, just me, and then 1 person, and then 2 people, an office, and we grew that business to 70 people. And I think in Australia we need to make sure that we celebrate you've had. I'm sure it did not come without a lot of hard work, and it's something as a government we want to applaud and support. So well done.
Any other? Yes, please.
Clarifying the difference between monetary policy and fiscal policy in layman's term. My question is in mainly to tackle those dodgy builders, because many of us try to build our houses and we pay deposits to and don't respond. So in Queensland, QBCC and Labor government, they came up with a in New South Wales. Are we planning to do anything of some sort to can't get away with?
Yeah, very, very good question here. And there have been a number of recent examples of people who've lost their deep fakes and artificial intelligence. I think there are 2 things. First of all, we need to make sure that when doing trust accounts or insurance pools, to give people security. The second thing is the awful examples in Sydney of people paying for apartments and then those apartments in order to maintain the standards of building. And we also need to make sure, as you say, that we have protections for people to identify any issues that they might have make it more expensive, and insurance costs can make it more expensive. So we need to find a way to do it in a way that doesn't increase costs. But it's a really important point, so thank you.
But my question in regards the same thing and the construction side of it, are you aware if community people, all they lost their contracts? So what way has been looted? That's what the word I could say, because they sell it to someone else and Astro and all this stuff. They're living on a rent and they lost so much money, and the opportunity cost and now is being doubled. So who's going to be fault 155 or 60 people? But I shouldn't say the name of the big corporation, which is, there is some loopholes. I think it's the whole government even looking into it. So is it something?
Yeah.
And just to add to that particular point, I think he's got a very valid point. And to add to that, since it's construction as far as wood is concerned, especially because we used to import a lot from China at that point in time. Post-COVID, I've got information that it's almost risen to almost $440,000 because, $240 a linear meter, which is almost 3 times, 4 times the amount. So things don't happen again. One, legal loophole that is. And also with the second point, meaning, do we have a control over these prices? I know this may be source of materials probably, for example.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, true. So this is a really important point for Australia, and that's very challenging. But another consequence of that increase in the costs of housing, a building company might have sold apartments, like the apartments over there, 5 years ago. Now, because building costs have gone up, so the builder, who is not a dodgy builder, is caught in a squeeze. They've already sold. We're in a very dangerous situation where the builder might go bankrupt and the people might not get their homes, and to be at risk of bankruptcy. So this is another reason why, rather than importing all of our building materials, we should be making some building material, have manufacturing in Australia so that we're not relying on everything being imported. It's in the cost of timber of 3 times. Even worse, we don't make it in Australia and not have any. Or medicines. And his new tariffs. because we import all these things. So for all of these reasons, increases caused by pandemics, tariffs, politics. For many people in the construction industry, even good businesses, they're at risk of losing their business. And when they lose their business, people lose their home. We need to make sure that in Australia we are building the foundations of a strong economy. You can't do that in 6 months, you can't do that in 12 months. Whyalla. You would have heard about Whyalla. Yeah. It's the place in Australia where we make steel, still make steel in Australia. That's part of our Future Made in Australia manufacturing commitment. Thank you.
My question is around technology.
Yeah.
You all know that the revolution is going on for artificial intelligence. Has given some funding to councils to implement artificial intelligence, but just want to understand for small you, like by organizing some expos or some workshops. Thank you.
Great technology. My business was a technology business, and I saw how business we used the technology, the AI technology in accounting. But with AI and technology, I could do that just with half a person. Businesses, I completely agree with you, and the point you made is spot on. New technologies. And the government has a range of policies to encourage small businesses, scheduling apps, all these things which will improve the productivity of our small businesses. Australia's biggest businesses have hundreds or because they're providing critical inputs into technology and is really important. If we want businesses to adopt new technologies, if I'm a small business, but I'm worried about my cybersecurity, I'm not going to adopt those new technologies. There is a cybersecurity attack on one of our businesses every 6 and that's only the ones that are reported. So many of our businesses are being attacked by organized criminal gangs. Government has made it a priority to try and improve our cybersecurity. If we don't do that, then I think many businesses will be worried. It's important that we encourage businesses to take advantage of these opportunities, and we incentivize them to do that. Cybersecurity in place so they're not introducing new risks into their business. Both of those things are important.
And one from a female, I guess. I just want to say happy International Women's Day to all the women here. So that's another thing that Labor has incorporated. And also, I just wanted to ask Andrew, as a business entrepreneur, women going into business seems to be more difficult in many ways because of commitment at home, more business, but they run it from home when they can, and they're working full-time as well. But gap, obviously with cost of living, or they've had a child, or they can't move from where they are. Thing incorporated for women to get into business, to show their education, their passion, their things that they need to improve, got the support system, they will be able to become something new, something that, they want to be. But it is more the fact that they don't have the support system to start a business. They are too scared to go actions. There might be a better way, especially a lot of the migrant women who have so much talent. And as you know, there's so many small businesses who make sure that I have a backup to do it and then take the risk, obviously. But nothing's without a risk, but if they've got a support system and steps, and the main thing they're all concerned about, is it going to work? Is there somebody who can support me? Somebody raise their hand.
International Women's Day. I'll answer in a few parts because it's really important. First of all, there is a national say that, we put it into practice. So in the Parliament, on my side of the Parliament, on the Labor side of Parliament, first time, 52% of Labor politicians are women. So that for me is like, not just talking. This isn't for female entrepreneurs, but female employees. And it is now, over the last 3 years, it's now down to the lowest it has ever been, that gender pay gap. We've got further to go, but it's down to Starts initiatives for women technology entrepreneurs, the League of Enterprising Girls, which is a program for young can-do to think about entrepreneurship, give them skills for entrepreneurship. That is a very important program that the government only take that risk if you've got the supports behind you. And that's why the government is also put a lot of money into fee-free TAFE so that people aren't going in and getting skills and having a big debt. $1 program to support domestic violence and women's security so that, again, parents with paid parental leave, something that the Labor of security, that you're not going to be without an income when you are on parental leave. So the problem that you're identifying is they need to climb up. We've got a number of programs to do that. And how do we provide the security that if they get on that ladder and they fall off or they make a misstep, they're not going to be taking a risk, that things that the government is working on. And it's a really nice way to finish on International Women's Day. So good question.
Thank you, Andrew.
सर उसके बाद एक वो पोस्टर के साथ भी